Got my Earth and Turf 415 SP, my Ventrac with my leveler back here, and got my John Deere and the GKB deep tine aerator, using the Deere to load this bad boy. I'm a little bit impressed. That is completely mounded over with sand, and that sand is like really wet right now. So that's a lot of weight, and it's handling it with zero issues. So some of you may remember a few years ago I did a pretty big renovation. This is a GCI Turf Alpha Elite Bermudagrass seed. This is a local customer of mine, and we're going to deep tine aerate it and sand level this area today. He uses a Ventrac reel mower to mow this right here, and you can see it's cut down super tight. He's got it at 3/4 of an inch right now. His maintenance cut is typically at 1 inch, but we took it down just a little bit lower today for the sand leveling. But man, he does a fantastic job mowing this, and look at that. That is just so incredibly beautiful. So if you wanted to know what the Alpha Elite seed looks like in all its glory, you're looking at it right here. You can see right here what the leaf blade looks like on that. Short, tight, compact turf. Spreads, rhizomes stolen, and I've always said the more you piss Bermuda off, the more it grows. Meaning verticutting, aerating, aerovating, dethatching, all that kind of thing. The more you tear it up during the growing season, the better it looks when it recovers. I would like to point something out right about here, I think. No, actually it's over here a little bit. I can tell by that hump down there. So the original renovation was about right here. This was kind of the line from here up. Well, if you look from here over, look at how much this Bermuda has spread. This is absolutely mind-blowing to me. Yeah, Bermuda spreads, but good gracious, this is quick. Sure enough, I'm gonna say that's a good 40 feet maybe, probably maybe 50 feet. And this area right here is at least 100 foot wide, and it's just creeping on out here, making its way on out into this bigger field area. You can see the deeper we get into the field area, you can kind of see right there where it tapers off, and then you get over in here. There's old crabgrass, Dallas grass, fescue in there, lespedeza. There's just all kind of just junk out here. So this has been a long time customer of mine, great friend, love him to death. And I've told him that whenever I have additional or leftover mix from my athletic field applications, and he's so close to the shop out here, I just told him I'd run right by here and we'll just start using that material up out here. And look right here. Look at all this common. There's a buttload of common mixed in all out here. So all we gotta do is get the weeds cleaned up, get a little food on it, and eventually this entire field right here, which is a good solid 2 acres, will be all Bermuda. And then he can reel mow it, and then gosh, he'd have him a little miniature driving range. So here is the question of the day. This is directed to golf course supers or golf course workers or athletic field workers or whatever, whoever that does this kind of work. There's a lot of debate on whether you put your sand down first and then you deep tine aerate, or you deep tine aerate and then you put your sand down. I've heard it both ways. I mean, I've heard people say, do it this way for these reasons, do it the other way for these reasons, yada, yada, yada. If you have experience with this, I want you to tell me your opinion on it and tell me the reasons why you think that is the correct way, one way or the other. My objective is to put the holes in the ground and get some of the sand in the ground, in the holes, so that, you know, if you got sand versus clay, water is going to penetrate and drain through sand much better than it is going to through clay. Of course, clay's got benefits where it holds moisture. We want it to hold, but we don't want it soggy. 100% North Carolina red clay, so when we get a lot of rain, it gets soggy out here, and we want that to drain off more like a golf green per se, so that, you know, water penetrates and gets deep, makes those roots go deep to get the water. So the way I'm going to do this today is I'm going to sand level first. Then I'm going to come back with the deep tine, and I'm going to put a bunch of holes out here, and then I'm going to run back over the entire area like a one-pass deal, just enough to drag some of the sand into the holes. The reason I'm doing it that way is once I get the holes in the ground, I don't want to run a piece of equipment over the yard no more than I have to, because the tires and the weight of the equipment might close the hole up. So I figure if I sand first, then put a bunch of holes in, deep tine, then just maybe make one quick pass over the whole yard and just lightly drag a little bit of sand around, it'll get down in the hole. So you let me know your thoughts, and I'll be sure to read the comments, because I am extremely interested to know what you think, especially if you're someone who has a lot of experience in this. So while it's cool, well, not cool, but cooler in the morning, I like to go ahead and do all of the hand work, like all of the edges and that kind of thing. Get that out of the way so I don't have to do that in the hottest part of the day. I like to pull it all the way over to the in this case, this is concrete. So here's your one little trick. When I sand level, I'm not sand leveling the entire area. And what I mean by that is the high spots, I'm not gonna mess with them. Of course, they're gonna get sand put on them, and it'll get leveled out and slicked down to some degree. But watch this section right here. See where the sand is a little bit thicker here? Come right through here, thins out. What I mean by thinning out, you can see more of the turf sticking through. And look at this spot right here. See how that spot's completely tan, brown with sand? The reason that is, there was a depression right there, a good little indention. And of course, you don't want your rake to follow that contour. You want to keep your rake level with this out here, and then cut that off so that that becomes level with the ground out here. That's why when you see me do a sand level job, you'll never see a completely, totally white or brown sand cap area, because like I said, I'm not really concerned about the high spots. I'm just trying to fill in the low spots. Something else I like to do is get all the little corners knocked out first. This kind of goes back to getting all the hard part done, and then the rest of the day I'll spend on a machine. I'll kind of round this off just a little bit, that way when I'm turning the machine I can just kind of make a smooth turn. I ain't got to worry about getting up in these little cracks and corners. Something I did do and screwed up is I forgot to open the gate to this thing before I put the sand in it. So now the gate won't open. So I've got to shovel the sand out from in front of the gate anyway. So live and learn, right? Oh yeah, look at there. That looks good. So of course, those of you with Bermuda, you know that this is going to grow back up through the sand. And of course, the purpose of the sand was to create a nice, smooth mowing surface. So, I don't know, 2 weeks-ish. It's pretty hot right now. 2 weeks, possibly 3 weeks, he'll have a sea of green right here. I did go ahead and put down a high nitrogen fertilizer, went in and hammered it with the nitrogen to push it pretty hard. This yard is irrigated, so shouldn't have any problem keeping the turf wet. So I instructed him to water similar to the way you would water grass seed, 5, 6, 7 minutes a zone, 3, 4 times a day. The trick is we don't want the sand overly wet and start running. Kind of like washing your grass seed away. We don't want the sand washing away. And we just want to keep that sand really good, nice and moist. And man, that Bermuda will come up through there and it will be screaming, and that Alpha Elite will be shining like a new penny. I cannot wait to see it. So that was about 60 tons of sand. This is roughly 32,000-ish square feet. You can see the 2 trees on the driveway side right there. That's kind of where we treat to from there toward the back. And so a good healthy amount of sand, lots of little low valleys and stuff. You can see all those white areas right there. Those are the areas that were super low. So this will make his mowing experience considerably better. And you'll get a better cut quality because there won't be any scalping issues or anything like that. So enjoyed doing this job. I always love doing a sand job. It ain't nothing like that in the world, to slick that thing down and know that the customer's going to have a super nice area to mow. So as always, I do appreciate you taking time out of your day to watch. I'll check you later.